Today, we're going to have the Hamilton Grimsby market update from Rebel Realty. We've got Abdellah Majd here.
These last 2 months have been very slow, even with the rates coming down. And, we were all optimistic that stuff, the sales activity would skyrocket, kind of wishful thinking, watching this market just fall off a cliff. To dive into the rental rates, well, in Hamilton, these are all pulled from Zumper. The year over year, we're down across the board. You can see year over year, we're down like 5% in the rental market is no joke. There's no joke, right? So
welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Channel. I'm Abdellah Majd, your host, and today we're going to have the Hamilton Grimsby market update from Rebel Realty. We've got Abdellah Majd here. We took the summer off, so there's been a little bit of a while since we've seen each other. So I'm looking forward to hearing about what's going on in your market, Abdellah. Can you please give us an update? I know we heard the stats video. It looks like numbers are down, but I'd love to dive in and just hear your thoughts on that a little bit more.
100%. Yeah, man. Nice to reconnect here. It's been a bit ready for this fall market push. But yeah, super pumped to be back on. Lots been happening for sure. Across obviously Southern Ontario, but to always stick with Hamilton specifically. You guys saw the stats there. I couldn't agree more with them. We're not in a world now where you might not feel it, boots on the ground, dealing with your clients day in and day out, and seeing the activity just kind of within a micro setting here at our offices. But yeah, these last 2 months have been very slow, right? Obviously, even with the rates coming down, and we were all optimistic that stuff, the sales activity would skyrocket. Kind of wishful thinking, but I'm glad it's going the way it is, and kind of like a steady reclimb, and in terms of similar to what we saw in 2016, 2017. I remember that's when I first got my license, so. I was a young pup in the industry, a year and a half in, and watching this market just fall off a cliff in the spring of 2017. And I remember our first ever investment property we were selling after 4 years, and still made a great buck and should have refinanced it probably, but that really is imprinted in my brain in terms of what that market looked like. And I understood very quickly how violently a market can shift, right? And obviously we saw that during COVID, and we're seeing that in this quote unquote recovery phase. But exactly what those stats have shown, we're feeling that 100% here. Obviously with some optimism and a slight increase in the fall market, but we'll see when we get there. And I know it's almost certain we'll get that another 25 bips in a cut on the 4th. And now, seeing a rate cut in a traditionally busy time of year will be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yeah.
So, but we're feeling it. We're feeling it. There's a correction here for sure, needless to say. But this is probably the most I felt it in quite a while.
Yeah, and you know what? I think you raised a great point there. Like, there's the seasonality of the summer making things super slow. And then we've got this sort of pending and coming fall market in conjunction with a rate drop most likely a rate drop on September 4th. And we just had that rate drop recently. So it could be interesting to see if there is just been some people really sitting on the sidelines throughout summer, just waiting, busy with family, out at the cottage, doing summer vacation with the kids and stuff like that. Like, traditionally, there's not a lot moving during the summer. So it will be interesting to see, like, if there's a bit of a springboard in spring and what that does for the market itself. So I'm excited to see it. Like, if we get 25 bips, or if we even get a little bit more than that, would be nice, but we're probably expecting 25, and we'll just see what happens, right? Like, if there's some pent up demand, that could be pretty interesting for people. And I know we just did a market update with Kayla Smith from the Niagara region. She kind of had similar stats, right? And what we were talking about, and I think it's important to remember if you came to watch this video and missed that one, is right now is that time where you should be developing your skills. You should be developing your power team. You should be developing your cash position and preparing for when there is more inventory, preparing for if there are greater drops in price, right? Because I know you've got planned for us today, looking at some of the rental market, we can see how rents are adjusting to the purchase price. And it's an interesting balance to see, because typically rents don't fall as dramatically or rise as dramatically as purchase price can. So it's interesting to look at all these factors and think, where are we at in the market and what does that mean for my actual strategy? And so, yeah, I'm interested to dive into the rental market here with you and just see what's going on in that front.
Yeah, Adam. So yeah, obviously some great points as always on your end. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, even with kind of meeting agents that we're trying to recruit to the brokerage, and everybody's kind of, left the real estate portion of their mind on the sidelines. And we'll see what September has to bring. But I think all in all, it's, as long as there's, constant relief coming, and, sounds like they've built in another 75 bips from now until the end of the year. So, only time will tell. But to dive into the rental rate, so we started doing this a few months back. I think, it'd be silly not to, and make sure that we're showing the viewers here the correlation and, what to expect when you're analyzing properties. Okay, well, in Hamilton, these are all pulled from Zumper. So, we all know Zumper is a gigantic platform in retaining rental information. So to look at the year over year, we're down across the board. No change in the 3-bedroom. That doesn't surprise me whatsoever, with tenant applications coming in with usually it's not a single person or a couple, it's usually 3-4 people. Started seeing a ton of that, where even friends are coming together and joining forces and joining incomes to strengthen an application. So to me, that's where the more robust bed count has been and will continue to be, and obviously dealing with the intensity of our immigration here in Canada. But you can see year over year, we're down like 5% in the rental market. Is no joke. It's no joke, right? So 2 beds are down a couple points. 4 bedrooms, don't know if we deal with 4 bedrooms too often. That's more kind of like in the single family type of forum, but that's down huge. Bachelors are down huge. Again, not a very not a setting that's traded too much, especially here in Hamilton, and people trying to find ways to either convert them into a small 1-bed by putting up a wall, or they are maybe 1-beds that should ultimately be studios, right? Maybe a bit skewed there just in terms of how they're listed. But yeah, there's definitely some stabilization, right? And it's a bit of hit and miss. Like, if we're gonna always relate it to boots on the ground, and we deal with hundreds of leases a year, with the amount of investors that we have the fortune of dealing with on a yearly basis. And sometimes, without really an explanation, some units just fly off the shelves. Their patience is a virtue for sure, and we're not in the business of just accepting the first application because somebody wants first and last before their mortgage payment, which is obviously always nice. That's what we strive for, but pragmatically, it's just not what should be done in most cases. Some cases, you got somebody comes in here, I make 6 figures, here's my credit score. But I mean, it's all case by case. We've got some great rental units as well. So out there for any viewers, anywhere from, 1 to 3 bed as well. But I think this, just to kind of stare at this for another second, and for the viewers to look at, okay, if you're analyzing a property, these are the numbers you should be intaking in terms of how you're building out your back end cash flow positions or monthly gross income. So, but I haven't looked at this again in about 4 months. Some big changes there for sure. Some big changes, especially in the last 30 days. Again, with the less desirable 4-bedroom and bachelors down huge. As long as the 1 to 3 bedroom stays in that 1 to 5% range in terms of, fluctuation, then you know that you're in a very stable rental market, and that when you're analyzing properties, you have a pretty good sense of what those numbers are going to look like on the back end. So Adam, we're going to jump into, as we always do on our end, just trying to give people and the viewers, hey, look, we do this on the regular. Here are some case studies. Here's what we're experiencing. And I'm never going to lie and say every single deal that we do is an absolute moonshot, right? It all comes down to the investor, right? And depending on the capital do they have, how deep can they go into a reno, right? Usually, not all the time, but usually the deeper the reno, the better the back end, right? Because you're just inputting so much force appreciation. And obviously this comes with, having somebody like myself or a construction team or a mortgage team, as the power team going, entering a project of 3 to 4 units, which is what we're focused on now with, I talk a lot about it in previous videos with where zoning's gone in Hamilton. Don't want to beat a dead horse there. We've talked about it enough. And, as more changes come, we'll be the first ones to get that information out to the public. But talking about a live opportunity right now that's on the market. It's been on the market for just a few days. Super interesting property. So I'm going to talk about a couple of quick details here. So these are separate pins, right? Completely separate parcels, side-by-side triplexes. They're legal duplexes with an in-law basement. Laneway parking, so 4 parking spots, 3 hydrometers per side. Furnace is new. The roof is new. Really, really strong building. Infrastructure is all there. The amenities are there. Everybody's got, or 4 of the 6 units have an outdoor space as well, which is always nice, right, for tenants, especially this day and age. And this one is just to talk about, this a little deeper. So these parcels can never merge. So when this was purchased, due diligence was done, and speaking to the lawyer at the time, it was severed during a period of time in like the 70s where there was an act, and this allows these parcels never to blend in, therefore making it very easy to qualify for. And not have those titles merge and violate the Planning Act. That's kind of more on the technical side of things. But to dive into the numbers, so we ran numbers and obviously spoke with our mortgage broker, so we're not just blowing smoke, but getting 499 is what's out there. One of the best rates you can get on an investment vehicle. So we ran numbers with 20 down, and this is just for the right side of the building. The full building gives you 6 total units. So on a 30-year AM, cash was about $700 a month. Still a bit of upside too with the rents, but this is more for a little bit more passive turnkey investor. It's in Corktown, so trendy area, not too far from James. Really quiet street, bringing in about $5,100 a month. 2 out of the 3 units are their own meter. The basement's all inclusive, but there is the ability on a turnover, which is becoming very, very common these days, and just having a percentage allocated on the gas, water, and hydro, and really passing that off to the tenant, just to give the landlord a little bit more breathing room and a better cash flow. The most interesting thing about this one is it can be packaged with the left side, making it a total of 6 units, 4 parking spots, 6 meters, and then which will then yield over $10,000 in a monthly gross income. You have shared laundry on site, so there's coin-op laundry, so just more of an income to the bottom line. So wonderful opportunity, running almost in mid-5s on the cap rate, but again, pretty unusual in terms of having the lot side by side. So could be very easy, right, for when you have to make house calls and dealing with maintenance and all that month-to-month stuff. So that's a live opportunity we have right now. Obviously, if there's any interest, leave us a comment. You can reach out to us at any time. This one was just purchased by a group of investors that we represented. Again, anything we look at now is minimum 3 units, unless it's a smoking deal, which there is out there. But we are very focused on 3+, and then looking into possible land assembly there and incorporating CMHC and getting to that 5+ unit and getting creative, right? Not only just on one parcel, but adjoining parcels, right? So that's definitely top of mind now, and staying up with or staying present with what CMHC has to offer, and everybody knows the type of amortizations and loan to value they offer out there. We'll probably dive deep into that in an episode maybe next month and the month after. But this one was purchased for $615,000, again on the Hamilton East Mountain, so A+ area. Future projected rents there, 24, 19, and 18, and passing off all utilities with separated hydro. So the investors will be diving into this mid-October. We're already started on the permit process, just like every other deal that we do. Permits start right away. We get in there with the construction team, with our engineer to start drawing, or start the drawing process rather, get measurements and rock and roll, and make sure that time is of the essence. So super pumped here to see how this one turns out in a few months, and we'll do another slide down the road when this one's fully stabilized and is ready to go to refinance. This one I'm super pumped about because of the size of the lot here. So we acquired this one a little while ago, so it's live now where we are into the rental stage. So we do have the main and the upper rented right now in the MLS, and we're in the stabilization phase of it. So the big thing with this one is the size of the lot. So it's 13,000 square feet roughly, 75 frontage by 167 depth, ginormous lot on the West Mountain, 2 seconds from highway access. So this one was tenanted, but we were able to negotiate vacant possession. Just luckily, very smooth closing for the investors. So it was already a 2,000 square foot legal duplex, separate hydro, separate gas, separate furnace, separate central air, separate hot water. So super attractive in that sense, and we're adding more services to it. So that garage that you see on the left-hand side, that is currently being converted into a legal 1-bed unit, which will yield $1,800 a month for the investor. So we're looking over $6,000 here in total rent. The basement could be a 4th unit down the road when zoning changes a bit here and allows more density. Investors will be looking to put 1 ADU, maybe 2. That's maybe a little aggressive, but 1 ADU for sure down the road, and could get up to $10,000-11,000 in total rent. Again, just on one lot, like stuff that you'd never see in Hamilton in previous years. But these were older landlords, right, that have owned this for a considerable amount of time, and I felt that we did a good job on the entry. It was a win-win situation, but I felt it already being legal and having all those separate services and mechanicals that we wanted to make sure we would that we acquired it, and 6-car parking here as well, which
nice.
It's awesome, man. Everybody gets a backyard. The ADU gets a shed. There's balconies. There's patio areas, right? So it's the works here for sure. So again, we've got the 2 main units being rented right now, ADU to follow, and then we'll keep the viewers apprised with how we further develop this land. So super excited to see how that works out for our repeat investors. And then last but not least, we have another 3-4 unit play. This one yielded a 23% cash on cash return. And that is not blowing smoke. I ran those numbers up, down, and sideways. The beautiful thing about this one was it was basically already chopped up and configured. It was single family, but zoned to go to legal tri. So engineer got in there, did his thing as usual. We converted to 3 legal units. So a 2-bed plus loft, a 2-bed, and then a 1-bed. So the main and the unit B already rented, and we're just in the middle of locking down a tenant for unit C. 66 by 100 lot. You can't see it. You can see it a bit there in this picture, but there is a large detached garage. So we'll be turning that into a 4th unit. And then this one actually just got reappraised on the refinance for $964,000. So our investors are enjoying all their capital out plus a bit of surplus, be cash flowing about $800-900 a month here with the numbers that I ran with their current mortgage obligations. So just another cool one that we're pumped about, and we're waiting to see when that fourth unit is going to be converted and we can always report back and talk about those total rents. This one again on the East Mountain, not too far from the East 32nd slide. So yes, again, super pumped. A lot of great stuff going on. All repeat investors that trust in our process and our ability to negotiate these deals. And so it's not easy out there, right? A lot of sellers are pushing back, and some negotiations take a week, 2 weeks, and just got to kind of stand by it, grind it out. This one for sure, but we didn't lose sight and kind of stayed on top of it. So that's it for those deals, Adam. Again, our preferred vendors across the board. Our power team when it comes to executing these multi-unit projects. And again, we'll always be bringing not just deals, but we're just super passionate about, hey guys, this is what we're doing. Here are the numbers. Again, not everything's a moonshot because that's very dependent on the investor and their ability, on the capital side. But we can take any amount of money and turn it into a great investment for you guys.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think what I love most about what you just showed us here is, like, even in a market that's down on price, even in a market where there's not a lot of volume being transacted, in a market where finding a great deal is hard, what you guys have done is you've gone out and you've helped your clients actually find opportunities and create opportunities by adding value, right? And I think that's really important. Like, we can't always have, as you said, a moonshot. We can't always have these like crazy deals where like you buy it and all of a sudden it's worth 20% more because the market's appreciating and money's free and the printer's going burr. It just doesn't work like that. And that's why we bring real people on the channel like Abdellah for you guys at home who are like, how do I make money in this market? How do I actually succeed in this market? And you can see here, it's by actually putting out massive action, right? Like, you have to be adding value. These guys are adding units. They're creating additional dwelling units. They're maximizing the opportunity that they get with the inventory and the deals that are available on the market right now in today's conditions. And I think that's really important for us as we refocus and get ourselves set on this fall market that's coming. It's not that you're looking for the perfect deal at the best price with the best cash flow and the best tenants ever. It's you're looking at, what are my goals? What is my strategy? What's my power team capable of? Finding the deficits and what you need and shoring that up, and then going and creating opportunity with what's there. Because like, you're never going to get the perfect timing of the market. You're never going to find, it's so rare to find that perfect deal just sitting there because everybody else is looking at that too. Absolutely. So it's more about, how do we create value? How do we create profits out of some of the problems that other people are seeing? And that's sort of the mantra of this channel. So if you're new here, welcome to the show, right? This is why we have these type of people on here, is because Abdellah sees all this, and where people are finding problems, he's looking at this and he's saying, how can we add value? How can we become more valuable to the market? And that's adding units, right? That's adding bedrooms. That's adding capacity to these properties that luckily a lot of municipalities have been pushing for more density. They've been pushing to get more value add onto these properties. And that's what you're going to have to see now as part of the just general strategy going forward as a real estate investor. You have to find more ways to add value so that the people, whether it's the bank on your refinance or whether it's your tenants giving you rent every month, you need to find ways that you can add value to these properties so that it can make sense and that the numbers work out. I mean, we just saw a case study there with a perfect BRRRR essentially, right? We just had all of our money back plus cash flow at the end of the month. Like, what else do you guys want to hear about? Yeah, I know. But the thing is, I'm going to read you guys on the I know you're sitting at home right now. You're about to leave a comment saying, I can't find cash flow like that. Good. Make it. Create it. You have to add value in order to get that. So reach out to Abdellah, see what he's got. Because I know Abdellah, he's got pocket listings coming up. He's got private deals he's working on. He's connected. And that's why we work with a power team like that, so that you guys can get in front of the ball. You can understand what's actually going to be coming for us in the fall market. And Abdellah's plugged in, and I think you guys need to get plugged in too. So if this is your first time on the channel, get ready, because we're doing this every single month. We're bringing deals, we're bringing opportunities. Abdellah usually brings big commercial deals too. So if you're a repeat investor, you're starting to grow your portfolio, maybe you're looking at exiting some of your smaller stuff, great. We've got deals for that too. So I really appreciate you coming on today, Abdellah. And we had a frank and honest discussion about the price, right? What's going on in the market, what's been going on in the market. But then we saw a bunch of opportunity in how you can actually add value and make those numbers work for you. So I really appreciate that, man. That's wicked.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Adam. Yeah, always nice to chat and just have, I just think we, again, I'm always speaking to my local market is, again, depending on the investor, it's just about having an honest conversation. Look, like this stuff does exist, but it's not available left, right, and center. And if you have the right ability to intensify a lot, think about it in tranches, right? Here, I'm going to put my capital in, recycle it, ADU, recycle it. Depending on the deal, you could build a second story and put a third unit, depending on your entry and obviously the dynamics of the deal. Like there's just an incredible amount that you can do that you can normally do. The level of creativity is sky high now in Hamilton. The commercial to residential conversion, right? Like we're talking bigger bucks, but again, we're going to do some CMHC findings and talk about that. And again, I mentioned it earlier on in the conversation, right? It's now if you're collaborating parcels side by side that you own, you can go get these super attractive lending terms, right? Like there's an insane amount out there. And I'm not overly pushy, but when I believe in something, then I'll start to nudge people, and people got to jump back in, right? To be honest, like we'll see how the fall goes. There's still a runway here. I have to kind of reanalyze what's been going on the last 3 months and really thinking about it and talking to guys in finance and on the lending side, like. There's going to be some opportunity here for a little bit for sure, and then some. So I urge you guys, jump back in, hit us up, leave us a message. But Adam, always a pleasure, my man, and I look forward to our next one.
Wicked. Guys, that was Breville Realty, Abdellah Majd. I hope you guys can get connected with him, and we'll be back here next month with more stats updates, with more market information, more deals. And if you guys haven't checked out, we actually do a super cut as well with this, where Abdellah actually just shares the stats real quick. So if you just want to jump in and look at the stats, I think that's a really great way for you to do that. So we'll see you guys back here next month. If you haven't already, just subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. And feel free to share this video with your friends. Bye.